Welcome back to Fox 40 News at 11. I'm Sincere Tonsel. We'll turn out of Old Sac and go right across the Tower Bridge, and you'll be in a city of almost 54,000 people, policed by about 72 officers. Those officers are led now by Chief Robert Strange, and the chief joins me now live for an in-depth discussion about his goals for his city and what's affected his tenure most. Chief, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Let's start kind of where everybody's mind is these days, unfortunately, on COVID-19. Families are struggling to find rapid tests, but they have the luxury to isolate and choose their interactions with others. Officers obviously do not have that luxury. This current surge taking a different kind of toll on your department, isn't it?
It certainly is, and I don't think we're alone, but we are definitely at our peak of impact from COVID since the pandemic began, and we're wrestling with that. But as we have the entire time, we're finding a way to work through it and make sure that we're there to support our community in the ways that we absolutely need to and that they demand.
And when it comes to rapid testing for your department, do you guys have a strong, solid supply, or are you still kind of fighting to get what you need to make sure that all the shifts can be staffed?
Yeah, we're certainly working with our partners with the Health and Human Services of Yolo County and others that are really key to supplying at least those that are provided in our normal sources.
Okay.
But we are having to get creative as a city as well, and we're definitely having to shift what we spend money on to make sure that we have the supplies that keep us able to do our job and provide the important services to the city, whether we're the police department, fire department, public works, or many others to keep this city running.
And we definitely want the city to stay running and you guys to stay healthy as you do this important job for all of us. We're kind of on the weekday eve of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which revives much of the societal focus on social justice that has flared and then waned throughout the last 2 years. Some of that demand for social justice has come in the wake of George Floyd's killing and has called for police departments to be reorganized. Some advocates use the word defunded so that they're more responsible and responsive to the communities they serve. What do you want to say to West Sacramentans about being courageous and, to use a word that you have, humble in the face of their criticism?
I think our profession, and certainly here at the West Sacramento Police Department, it's important to me that we exhibit courageous humility, really, in face of the call for change. And certainly we've been at it since the murder of George Floyd, but even before that, there's been key historical marks that our profession is not proud of. And they are marks that are absolutely righteous for calls for change. And I think for us, we are blessed here to have a very supportive community. And so we haven't been put in a position to feel an immense amount of pressure other than what we should be paying attention to with the calls for change across the nation. And I think really to honor the legacy of Dr. King, I think it demands that we continue to work for positive change and really work for equity. And where policing has the opportunity to have the bright lights of critique on it right now, we also have the opportunity to really lead in a way that models change and inclusiveness and bringing others to the conversation in a way that we just haven't done before. For all of our best intent, we relied on other policing professionals to really define how we serve our communities, and it's long overdue that our communities are at the table kind of helping us define what it is they want to see out of policing in their communities.
Okay. We like breaking news here on Fox 40 News at 11. As part of the commitment to the community you just mentioned when it comes to fairness and transparency, West Sac PD is poised to become one of the first departments in the nation to be part of Measure of Justice. And this is an effort aimed at getting a city's arms around the metrics of how you are doing as a department in a different way. Please explain.
Yeah, so we're excited to be announcing formally, and like you said, you're getting the breaking news, I guess, because we'll be announcing formally next week a partnership with Measures for Justice, and they're going to assist us greatly in devising and collaborating with our community to launch a dashboard to our community that really highlights the data transparency. It's just another aspect of transparency that's important in policing, and one that frankly we're overdue. Policing in general has not been good with data, and Measures is actually coming up with metrics that should provide a model or standard model for policing across the nation. And so we're excited to be part of a pilot program with them to be one of the first departments across the nation to do that here.
Wonderful. We'll definitely be following up to see what kind of things get put on that dashboard and what people can check out about what's going on with their department at any time, since that will be online. Exciting things like that are happening for the department, but there really have been some challenges. Back in September of 2020, department officers killed a former department employee, 88-year-old Robert Coleman, who was struggling with a mental issue and sort of walked into a separate investigation at 3 a.m. in a city neighborhood. Now there's a stepped-up effort to work with mental health resources in town, so there's more a complete response for the person in need. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Mr. Coleman's death was really a mark that with just an amazing family that really has poured into us in a time that you wouldn't expect, and they really helped us in making change. And so what we have done, and really also promoted by the My Brother's Keeper initiative here locally, we established a new division of the police department, the Community Outreach and Support Division. And in that division, we now have co-responders that are trained clinicians that respond to crisis calls in the community and also conduct follow-up calls. They're already handling over 100 calls a month for our city. And so this provides a differential response in some cases where a police officer would have responded in the past. Now they either respond with a clinician for a warm handoff for that type of care, or the clinicians themselves can respond, and definitely do respond after the fact to provide supportive service linkage to not only the client, but even some of the client's close support network.
Definitely something so many families dealing with some level of mental illness. It's a huge challenge within the family, especially when that slips out into the community. And you all may not know when you're showing up to a scene exactly what you're dealing with or who walks up to a scene. So that's a great resource. Let's talk about some other resources before we have to let you go. Dedicated to homelessness. Now this is impacting just about every city in California. WESAC has struggled in the Boat Ramp and West Capitol area for years, but now there's the new Mercy Supportive Housing development on West Capitol that has given more than 100 people a more stable living environment. We just had the mayor on to talk about that. What difference do you think it's made already when it comes to policing and the incidents that you're running into? Locking up people for having no place to sleep can't be the right answer, right?
We certainly have really changed the culture here in West Sacramento. Since 2014, we started with a Bridge to Housing program that had a bunch of folks that had lived for many, many years on the rivers into a motel at the time, and then so many of them actually got supportive, or not supportive, but permanent housing as a result. Now we have this great opportunity with permanent supportive housing. It's already full. I mean, we had a need. It's already full. And we also have just a broader ecosystem of support, including a homeless shelter that we actually assist in running with other departments in the city. So our approach and our services first approach of encountering people in our homeless community, and first starting not with worrying about a crime violation if it's not the priority, but really talking to them about how can we help? How can we connect you to services? How can we help you end your episode of homelessness, and so you can be in a more thriving, healthy environment? These are members of our community, just like people who live in homes, and it's important that we always treat people with that kind of compassion.
And I'm sure that's something that people are excited to hear out of their police chief. Thank you so much for joining us this morning to share about a lot of issues that are coming to play in the other city by the river. Thank you.
Absolutely. Be well.